Brainiac. Alter ego, Vril Dox. Occupation, scientist. Known relatives, Vril Dox 2, son. Group affiliation, none. Base of operations, mobile. First appearance, historical version, Action Comics 242, July 1958. Current version, Adventures of Superman 438, March 1988. Height 6 foot 6 inches, weight 300 pounds. Eyes green, hair blonde. History. For most of his adult life, Vril Dox was Scientist Prime of the planet Colu, a world approximately 100,000 light years from Earth. Colu's green-skinned inhabitants were then ruled by an artificial intelligence whose mobile units were dubbed computer tyrants. These units monitored and manipulated the native population from cradle to grave, subjecting most Coluans to an electronic education that was little more than brainwashing. The tyrants recognised Vril Dox's genius early in his infancy and allowed him to reach adulthood without the psychological conditioning applied to the majority of Coluans. In return for being allowed to retain his free will, Dox served the tyrants as their chief of science and technology. But as Dox's skill and knowledge grew, so did his ambition. He began scheming to subvert his masters and became Colu's supreme authority. His plans were discovered, and when Dox's experimental teleportation apparatus proved faulty, the tyrants had him pronounced guilty of scientific failure. Dox was subjected to his own flawed teleporter, and the atoms of his body were dispersed. But somehow Dox's mind managed to survive his disintegration. Reaching out across the void of space, Dox's consciousness made contact with the mind of Milton Fine, a circus sideshow mentalist billed as the amazing Brainiac. Dox discovered that Fine, unlike others of his profession, actually possessed latent mental powers, and slowly began to possess him. As Dox's hold strengthened, Fine experienced excruciating headaches, and his powers began to awaken. This power release caused similar pain to the alien mind of Clark Kent. Kent assumed his identity as Superman and sought out the source of his pain, locating Fine just as Dox took control of the mentalist. Intoxicated by Fine's power, Vril Dox attacked Superman, assuming the name Brainiac for the first time. With the aid of Fine's common-law wife, Janet Jones, Superman rendered him unconscious. The authorities thought Fine's story of alien possession was a psychotic fantasy, and Fine was confined to the psychiatric ward of Metropolis's General Hospital, drifting in and out of catatonia, trying to resist Dox's hold. Following Jones's death in a traffic accident, Fiennes was allowed to attend her funeral. There, Dox regained control and escaped from Fiennes' handlers. As Fiennes' consciousness fought the possession, a massive tumour developed within his brain. Dox killed several homeless men, drawing off samples of their spinal fluid in hopes of developing a serum to end his pain. This reign of terror finally ended in a psychic struggle with Superman, which left Brainiac comatose. Seeing Brainiac as a powerful tool to use against Superman, industrialist Lex Luthor arranged for him to undergo an operation to remove the tumour and implant special bionic circuitry to boost his mental powers. But the last vestiges of Milton Fine's mind vanished with the tumour removal, and Brainiac soon turned the tables on Luthor, taking over LexCorp for many weeks. After a brief encounter with Superman in the guise of Gangbuster that again left Brainiac in a coma, Luthor had him heavily sedated and moved into a special psionics research facility. Brainiac's human body began wasting away, but his mind broke free and took over the facility, hypnotising LexCorp's technicians and eventually even Luthor himself. Brainiac had a team of geneticists and cyberneticists rejuvenate and enhance his body. Superman discovered Brainiac's rebirth too late to stop it, and Brainiac retreated to space to continue his search for power. Powers and weapons. Brainiac possesses telepathic and psychokinetic powers of as yet untested limits. He can mentally enthrall and control several people at once, though his hold on these thralls varies inversely with the number of people under his control and the strength of their minds. He can levitate himself and other objects, and can generate his own force field by sheer will. His bionic implants enable him to go online with virtually any computer system. Though his body is now stronger than any known human or Coluan, he has shown no skill at physical combat. Brainiac's starship is capable of transporting him anywhere in the galaxy.